It's time for the Friday Nuggets. This week we're going to share with you on parameters that one could possibly consider while doing a due diligence for a buy, refurbish, rent, and refinance for a HMO conversion opportunity. So let's start. First is obviously the numbers. That's where we always begin. In a video a few weeks ago, we did share with you how exactly to do your analysis to check to go to adopt a backward approach, reverse engineer what is the maximum purchase price you could pay depending on the risk reward that you tend to take. So while that is there, you could look at that video for the numbers. We leave a link below. There are other parameters that one should factor in before actually making in an offer. So the second parameter being the demand, whether there's sufficient demand for HMO rooms in that area. Obviously, you could look at the industries in the area, you could look at the universities in the area, you could look at the proximity to city center. Uh, this will give you that there is a growing demand, but the absolute demand is not really definable through these parameters. So you could look at spare room, give a specific postcode, it'll look for rooms wanted and look for rooms available. So that will give you a supply versus demand, and if the difference is the supply demand gap. Now, is this absolutely correct? No, it may not be. The reason being, people tend to put dummy ads. So when people put dummy ads, the more calls you get, there's more demand for the rooms. So you always want to be better than your competitors. So you put up a dummy ad to check, get a feel for the demand yourself. There's another way of doing it is speaking to the local managing agents. So when you speak to them, they'll give you not only a feel of what the demand is, they will also tell you what type of room could be sold at what rate and in how much time. So don't always base your decision on one agent's inputs. Speak to at least about two, three of them, and then get a feel for what's happening. Quite a few letting agents itself could be managing the HMOs as well. So speak to them, get a feel. It's the same thing that goes with whether you're doing due diligence while doing a development or it's commercial conversion to find out what the rent potential you could get. So this is how you would base your demand. Then the next actual supply, how many HMOs are there in the area. So go into the council website and look at the HMO license register. This is a public document. It'll give you details of all the HMOs that have been licensed, what area, who the owner is, or who the license holder, and then so on and so forth. So when you look at it that way, and if you filter it for a specific postcode where you intend to put your HMO, it will tell you in that specific area or close to that area within the proximity how many HMOs are actually operating. So you get a feel whether in the area there are too many HMOs or there are no HMOs in the area at all. So sometimes absolutely no HMOs in the area is also not good, because if you tend to go for a planning permission where you are intend to put more than 7 rooms, and the residents might just reject the planning permission. There's no precedent for you. You're the first mover. Sometimes be good as well. So it's a little risky there. Again, property is all about risk reward. Who has what kind of risk appetite and where you are going to go for. The next parameter that I would look at is analyze the area. What are who are the people that live in the area? What is their profile? Uh, what is the crime for the area? Uh, then what are the house prices? How is the house prices varied across the year in the area? And from so all these there's one website which gives you all of this in one place, and that website is Street Check. You don't have to go to multiple places. Just go to Street Check, put your postcode, and you will uh, be able to find. I tend to use Street Check quite a lot, so that's a good tool to get a feel of the area. But no doubt, being physically present, walking on the streets, gives you the best first-hand experience and feel for the area. uh, all your computer due diligence can be one side, whereas your actual due diligence on the side on the streets is will always hold more water because you've got to feel for it yourself. And last but not the least is when you go to site visits, please do pay attention to a few things in addition to looking at the condition of the building and gauging how much amount of works. So we normally tend to go onto a site, look at this room measurements, see what room sizes are, and if it's more than the HMO guidelines, can we fit that many rooms with en suites and so on and so forth. Obviously, I did share with you guys the parameters that are considered by valuation officers to give a commercial valuation to an HMO. So keeping all this in mind, we check. And sometimes you tend to look at the plans put up on Rightmove by the estate agents, and you know for a fact those are not to scale, but we did a mistake of assuming it is the right representation. It may not be scale, it may be skewed whatsoever done, but it has all the representations of the actual on-site plan. So, and when we were looking at it, we also tend to look at Google Earth. So just to get a feel of around the building, how it is, and Google Earth lets you measure external dimensions in case you want to validate or whatever. So, I'll just show you this instance. I had to share this week. It was a major learning for me and the business partner personally. So I had to show this one for that matter. When we look at this plan, here it shows a complete straight line. So we assume everything is all right. This is how it's based. And somehow it was small. That's okay. But we know that these two are along the same line. There's no offset in these two. This is not an extension on this side. This is an extension on this side. So we are looking at how many rooms can we get? And we want to now figure out, look at the local guidelines in Derby and see can we provide sufficient amount of kitchen, communal area space, dining space as per the local HMO guidelines. So interestingly, we think, okay, we could, there's so much amount of space, there's 3.91 and there's 1.91, we knock off this wall, we could do this, we could do that. But when we look at Google Earth, something is not right. So we decide to go back to the site again to only figure the site actually goes not straight away, there's an offset. So now the offset is basically losing an area of 2.55 square meters. So that 2.55 square meters might seem like a small space, but when you are trying to maximize the economic potential, you're actually losing out on the communal area. And that's your bare minimum requirement for a communal area. So this, when we go back to site and when we actually look, we realize, okay, so this is where it offsets and this is here have so much space, space. So how are you going to fit? So obviously we had to reject it and we said, we explained the vendor saying we cannot go for it because this is the reason and this is the wrong thing that was there on the. So it's, so guys, the point is, it's absolutely important that you guys do your due diligence right and do as much as possible. There's no way you can get your due diligence right in the first time. You need to do it a few multiple times over a period. You will learn and think. So the point was to share with you the experience that we had. It was a major learning for us. So from now on, we will always, for our site visits, if there's a plan on the portal, we'll take a printout of it and go onto site to see exactly how it is on site and measure room by room, put the right physical dimensions over there so it becomes easier for us to check later. Hope you found that useful, guys. Thank you so much for listening, and please do give us your feedback. If we can help you in your journey, feel free to reach us on. Feel free to reach us. The best way to reach us is on WhatsApp. The number is 07467988489. Thank you, guys. Take care. Have a good week. Cheers.